Hi, I'm Jeremy.
And I'm Ben.
And together we are 15 Degrees North.
Today we're going to show you the sights and sounds of Singapore.
Singapore is a microstate that sits on an island off the southern tip of Malaysia.
Originally a British colony, its fortunes ballooned in the 20th century as it grew into a metropolis that is one of Asia's biggest and most advanced.
No, seriously, something you'll notice from the moment you arrive is just how embedded technology is within their lives.
This is a country that has embraced the future, and nowhere is this more evident than the harbour, where you can see the full breadth of the city's rapidly growing skyline, as well as its most famous landmark, the Marina Bay Sands Hotel.
With 3 skyscrapers linked by a sky park on the 57th floor, you have to pay a fee to access it or stay in a hotel to swim in its sensational infinity pool.
Is it a mermaid? Is it a lion?
It's a Merlion.
Obviously. For all of Singapore's historic buildings, the real reason you're here is to see all this amazing modern architecture.
It's like being in the future.
Question 1. In what year did Singapore become independent and from whom?
Well, from the Brits, but in 1951.
Incorrect on both. It's 1965 and it was from Malaysia. They became independent from the Brits in 1963, only to join Malaysia for 2 years. Sorry, wrong on both.
Moving away from the harbour, here you can find the traces of Singapore's past, as well as fragment of its cultural origins.
Singapore was always a trading port, so the city is a total mix of cultures, races and religions.
You can see this clearly through the presence of Muslim mosques, Buddhist temples, Hindu shrines and even Christian churches.
It's a melting pot of cultures, and this is evident all across the city. Question 2. Approximately how many thousand different plants can be found inside the botanical gardens here in Gardens by the Bay? I'm going to give you a clue. It's 6 figures.
6 figures out of thousands. 395,000.
The correct answer is 250,000.
Oh.
I know this is controversial, but I would argue that Singapore is one of the few successes of British colonialism.
Be careful where you're going with this.
Well, before the Brits, there was no city here.
Okay.
And Singapore's prosperity has come from the fact that someone recognised the strategic importance of this island and built a city here. And you can see from all the remaining colonial architecture that a lot of money was invested and a lot of wealth created here.
Yes, but most of that wealth was being funneled back to the UK and not into the Singaporean economy.
True, but since Singapore's independence, wealth has bred wealth, leading to it becoming one of the richest places on the planet.
Maybe, but that should probably be considered less of a colonial success and more as a give me back my spoon so I can stir my own soup scenario.
Question 3. Historically, Singapore has been a country before, lasting for about a century. But during which century was that?
Oh, I know nothing about Singapore.
I know, I've gone deliberately hard on these.
In which century? I'm going to go with the 11th century.
It was the 14th.
Oh, so close, yet so far.
I thought Singapore was going to be just a big concrete jungle, but there's actually lots of glimmers of the past if you know where to find them, coming from lots of different religions, different faiths, different cultures. This probably is the crown jewel and the best of the lot.
It's difficult to pin down exactly what makes Singaporean culture unique from that of its neighbours, however.
But like Dubai or Hong Kong, the wealth pouring through the city's limits has led to rapid expansion, enormous investment and incredible infrastructure, making it one of the most advanced megacities in the world.
It probably wouldn't work if Singapore were the capital of a larger country. The government is able to funnel all the money taxed from its citizens directly back into improving the city, leading to constant redevelopment and change.
The system is pretty totalitarian though.
But it does seem to work.
It's just not a great place to be gay though.
Now, we watched Crazy Rich Asians before we came, so we know that Singapore is totally a thing for the rich and famous in Asia.
Which is probably why it's also one of the most expensive places to visit in Asia.
However, if you're smart, you can find ways to stretch your dollar when you're there. Our biggest tip is to find hawkers for your food during the day rather than dining at a restaurant.
How's your food?
Very tasty.
And how much did all of this cost us?
All of this without the drinks, $10.80, which is about £5, £6, £3 each. Big plate. Yummy.
Question 4. Stamford Raffles is very famous in Singapore. What did he do?
He built the city.
Essentially, yes. Yeah. Where was he from?
Britain.
Yes, he was. A
Yeah,
proud
first
Brit.
points.
Yay!
One of Singapore's greatest achievements is the Gardens by the Bay.
At the end of the 20th century, the government set out a plan to transform Singapore into a city in a garden, wanting to improve the lives of its citizens by enhancing and increasing the amount of flora in and around the city.
Surrounding the Marina Bay Harbour, the vast 101-hectare site has numerous attractions, the most famous of which are the Supertrees.
The Supertree Grove consists of 18 tree-like structures, some of which are 50 metres in height.
Each one is a vertical garden covered in foliage on the outside and lights on the inside.
Designed to be an eco-friendly utopia, I couldn't help but feel like I'd wandered onto the set of Avatar and that at any second a tribe of Na'vi were going to come flying in on their pterodactyls and I was going to have to find somewhere to hide in the Pandoran levitating landscape.
You were thinking that? I was just looking at the lovely trees.
Question 5. What is in a Singapore sling cocktail?
I actually don't know that because I've not had one yet. I'm going to go with gin, and it's kind of red, if I remember correctly. So, cherry liquor.
The recipe is coming up now. We could have sat there drinking Singapore slings all day.
But we didn't, because they were really expensive.
Although they were cheaper than buying cocktails in the UK.
Well, when you're traveling in Southeast Asia, you can't help but get used to the rock-bottom prices everywhere else.
And I will never get used to the British prices nowadays.
I hear you, sister. Preach.
Brexit did that to us.
We need to talk about the Supertrees.
You already did.
Yes, but the thing about the Supertrees is what they look like at night.
Twice each evening, the trees come alive for the Garden Rhapsody, a light and sound show that really transforms the grove into Pandora.
Here we go, more Avatar stuff again.
You know that scene where they have to plug their little hair tails into the Tree of Souls and they all become part of the same life force?
Vaguely.
Well, I felt just like that.
Except you're not blue, and you don't have a hair tail.
True.
I could pass for Sam Worthington though, right?
You could pass for Sigourney Weaver.
I'll take it.
Forget Magic Kingdom at Disneyland, that was really quite something else.
We absolutely loved everything about Singapore.
It's a remarkable city where everything just seems to work.
It feels like a place where they just got everything right. And who doesn't want to live somewhere where they've got everything right?
Unless you're gay, that is.
Thanks for watching.
Be sure to like, share and subscribe.
And follow us on Instagram at 15 degrees north.
Make sure to tune in to our next video to see where in the world we end up next.
See ya.
Bye!